Second free practice session for the Grand Prix of Doha. Second race at Losail in a week. In the end, unfortunately, really only just hung on to the points, didn't he? Struggling later on in the race. Right, we get going. Smoke out the back. What on earth's going on?
Well, the rumours about the paddock seem to be that one of the mechanics potentially overfilled the oil. Not an engine problem, but some oil getting into that system and getting burnt. Seems like a said they were going to leave them on when we spoke to him on the grid. They actually did take them off for the race, so we believe that was due to the side winds. So
which is why we say this is the one that's going to count in terms of getting people through to Q2. Remember, combination of the light off, especially when track temperatures, as they were earlier today, up into the high 50s, 60 at certain parts of the track, slick rear. Remember, you can have a maximum of 6 in your allocation of those tyres. From Michelin, you can have 10 fronts. Grid last weekend used a soft front and a soft rear tyre,
which would lead you to believe they will do that again, because everybody out then, because you said, well, that's one of his new rear tyres being burnt out. He needs 2 for this session, he needs 2 for the race, and he needs 2 for qualifying.
Yeah, a fast lap later on in the session.
You wouldn't want to.
No, you wouldn't want to at all.
Not if you've got to try and do a 52.
Yeah.
It's like, and at that point, you're like looking at him going, how's about you having a go at sticking it in doing that record on a used tyre? Remember that first one from free practice 1?
But no. we were careful how we let something wasn't right from the offer, Frankie, and the team said they managed to disengage. The launch device had acted throughout the week, and yeah, Frankie said he wouldn't know until tonight if they've definitely got to the root of the problem and fixed it. So fingers crossed.
As well, Michael, with the absence of Marc Marquez, you know, we're talking about the man who finished second in the world last year, Frankie, and I mean, I think we're all expecting Marc to return in Portimao in a few weeks' time, and if he
to do 2 on the bounce like that, I think Ducati are the ones who've
gone into second spot there, a 54.6. Vinales and the race he did, and how he needs to approach this one now with everyone else gunning for him.
Yeah, so I don't think he wants to risk too much. And yeah, it's the great unknown with Maverick, and that's why
he's got bagfuls of talent, as he's shown last week. It was a stud, did he? And he just showed again what he's capable of. Miller himself saying we had an issue actually, but I can't say too much.
Was that he lacked rear grip and rear feeling, but there was a bit of a vibration there, so that can happen when the tyres new. You get a little bit of grip, so they'll be looking to put that right this weekend, make sure that doesn't happen again. And I think Jack, looking at the breakthrough he made in the second half of
Joan Mir moving up into 8th place. Alex Rins, his teammate, in 10th. Crucial for Mir, but in terms of his race being different and being able to make sure that late burst can be for the victory.
What that took out of his tyre life anyway. We know the Suzuki's genuinely light on tyre wear. We were sort of behind him. It was even in the morning warm-up, we had a bit of a breakthrough. I asked him what that was. He couldn't tell me exactly, but clearly, because we saw Mir have a fantastic race. He ended up coming out the last corner in second place. Obviously, he finished 4th. Will also help him on a 1-lap flyer. They're pretty confident about that. So
that's interesting.
He needs it, obviously, because he can't.
Was never too enamoured with the 2021 chassis and the way the direction things were going.
There he can potentially make it worse, so they're looking for a little bit more on that 1-lap pace, because we know over race distance Suzuki's, they're the benchmark, which is unusual for the Mallorcan. He doesn't ever come across that fiery, but he was frustrated, and I think the number 1 on his back.
Good on it, doesn't he? He's got he's just slotted in. It's like that bike was built for him. A lovely riding style. He looks nicer on that. Yeah, he's just gelled with it, and what an impressive rookie ride. First time out, he didn't get a good start. He finished 10th place, less than 10 seconds off the win. Yeah, stunning.
Brilliant stuff, and obviously no ill effects to Dave. He had his second
thing. Valentino Rossi says, I'll have my second jab on Monday. I think a lot of them were going with the Pfizer one, was it? And the feeling... but Anea went for it on Wednesday and had to miss all his media duties yesterday because he
said, I'm having it on Monday, I'm following the boss. Valentino Rossi.
Oh, yeah.
He was like, he knows, he's always got the strategy right, so I'm doing what Valentino's
about that.
Yeah, it's one of those, isn't it?
I just think environmentally, to fly all the way to...
So,
no, yeah. It's a strange one, isn't it? It's a long way to come to go.
Intimidated his rivals. Alex Rins seen him in there and was like, for sure he's going to be on the grid.
But then there's also the questions about quarantines, aren't there? And great health-wise, is it, on the COVID front? Everyone's trying to be responsible about it. Especially when the whole championship is
vaccinated, they're going to be a travelling bubble together. So morally, he felt it was the right decision to make. And your argument, Neil, about the environment,
it's like,
the only flight because people buy tickets on them. It's an interesting. Maverick Vinales, interestingly, trying the soft rear tyre here. As is Fabio Quartararo, as is Franco Morbidelli. Oh, that was wrong, wasn't it, for Alexia Spargo, trying to get it stopped down into turn 6. It's a new day for Aprilia, but the only I have to past experience here and there, things don't necessarily work like that when we get back to Europe, and they have only tested. Okay, they've been able to test at Jerez, and that's still 7th place. However much it's the closest finish, it was still lower than he's managed back in 2017.
He'd be quite positive looking at his
calling him out, tweeting pictures of his Wikipedia page, basically saying,
pals.
Showing that he's never won more and try and improve on that 7th place.
Joan Mir down in 5th place, decent. We expect it to be a little bit slower this week. Well, someone's going to try and make it slow. It depends who gets to the front of the race early on, doesn't it?
We've seen this before, and we've been disappointed. We've got our hopes up, and then it's not quite worked out. I said this has been the king of the one lap, hold your breath, bite the screen. He doesn't appear to be on the limit or having to commit on these one-off laps. Aprilia made a massive step forward with their motorcycle.
One thing, they've got a lot of aero on that bike, haven't they? But it hasn't quite got the weekend. Another 356.4 from Johan Zarco in this session, so that's 221 miles over the weekend.
Yeah, I think speed-wise they need a little bit more. They definitely have improved acceleration thanks to that aerodynamic package. Those developed the engines throughout the season, and they lost that last season, so the development freeze throughout 2020 meant that they couldn't even continue.
Nakagami, both the LCR Honda riders crashing out last week. Of course, Stefan Bradley, and we can't expect anything from Stefan, having done the first day of testing and trying all sorts of bits, but then get weeded out by Nakagami and Marquez. But
didn't get a good start. Had not a very strong weekend, but in the race he went forward and was lapping as fast. I'm going to really go for it next weekend. And Paul, he's never shy anyway, so if that was his conservative effort,
brilliant when the tyres are slightly used, and he felt good the second half of the race, but for qualifying to be able to find that next gear, he's tucking the front and slot.
Martino, as things stand, 3rd quickest, and could be finding himself into Q2, which would be great for the rookie, of course. But last year, they were just around about the top 10, just outside the top 10 for most of last weekend. It's the absence of Marc Marquez that they haven't got a direction to go in. They've got all these different riders. Pol Espargaro is new, not testing anything, and
it was just a bit of a bad weekend for them. I don't think we can start pressing the panic button now.
No, but like Ducati and Zarco, there are 2 Suzukis that are going to be there. There are 3 Yamahas that are always going to be there, that you're going to have to make your way through.
It's so funny. I love when you go down the list and you could literally go through at least 20 riders. You've got an option.
There, Miguel Oliveira was absolutely scathing about Michelin's tyre allocation.
He was, wasn't he?
Mid cooler temperatures, so they're stuck with the soft, and it doesn't work on their bike. So not a happy bunny.
These are the soft tyres in for Taka Nakagami. I'm sure he has it piped into his helmet.
There's no shit to show, but most of these riders are tuned into BT Sport to commentate and try and inform people at home, but mainly to help the riders. That's the part that we play.
Yeah, very early. Last week, Bagnaia went 3 out attempts in free practice 2. Franco Morbidelli was the 1 in 2.
Was Pol Espargaro in 10th place at 53.9.
Oh, it's faster than I remembered.
So Danilo, I'm not sure this one's going to quite work.
No, and he's got a new soft rear in, and this is his time attack, isn't it? Oh, did it show his crash again? I'm getting confused of his race crash. Was he tagged, or was it? I can't remember. Was he tagged?
ATM.
Nakagami go to 154.1 and having
motorcycle. It's hard, isn't it? You mentioned it before earlier, Gav. They've done a lot of days around this track, and you
expect crashes to start happening.
You're right, and also this is where tempers get frayed in the garage a little bit, because you come in, the team look at you at the front or whatever your problem is, and you're desperate for the team to make an alteration to that motorcycle to help you.
Session. Did you see anything different the way he approached things last week, apart from having done 69 practice?
Positioned himself so well, he knew that he had the potential to deliver, and he just looked so good on the bike. When Maverick's on form, there's no one better. He looked
quite nice, don't they? Nice bit of kit. They won't be cheap, will they?
Just about to say that. Costa really, and I don't mean that disrespectful at all, because he's obviously an incredible rider, but in his rookie season, you'd expect us behind him in 19th.
Compare that rookie to this rookie of someone who you would expect to risk things, because that's Jorge Martin.
Seen over the year, he's had small crashes that don't look anything serious at all, and next thing he's got a cast on, so he's unlike Charlie.
Tell you what I saw at Johan Zarco in the press conference, right old neck on him now.
Yeah. It's time trying to manage that rear tyre in the race. He did slip backwards, but he'll have learnt a lot. You can't fault his desire. Once he was in there, he said he didn't stand a chance, didn't Martin? He got that start, didn't he, Michael? And his adrenaline spiked. Yeah, that's it.
And the plaps, and you thought, was I supposed to be doing a strategy saving this rear tyre? And he dropped like a stone, didn't he? Unfortunately,
kind of lap times we're going to get. Stefan Bradl just went into to 5th, following Alex Rins with a 1:54.2, and I'm sorry to keep looking. You are going to have to put in a couple of charges here. Jorge Martin, in particular, is going to give it a good go as we come up towards second gear. Pick that bike up onto the fat part and let the Ducati sink with the dance moves down in the Pramac garage. Rins is going to go even quicker though, surely. He does, right, 53.9.
It's bit through. Be inside the top 10.
So then that makes me ask about the conditions.
It does make you wonder. I thought we'd be much faster than this.
Brake shroud that they're using as well there at Yamaha. Is it a brake shroud or is it some kind of aero?
I think
that looks the same.
Two different riding styles, two different requirements. When you watch Valentino, he's a late breaker. It is, we heard from Valentino last season that Jerez, when he made a bit of a breakthrough, he was allowed to take a lot of load off that front tyre. And
can't go faster on his second lap. Rossi, meanwhile, this is only going to see him into 18th place. Currently, and Zarco down in 22nd. We haven't really seen them in this section, have we, much?
By Salvador, yeah.
Meanwhile, here is Johan Zarco. We talked about away from him.
Yeah, just kind of locked the front as he was rolling over onto the side of the tyre a little bit, and it's almost like he bailed off it, but it was.
Miller having to abort on this lap. Do you remember last week? Well, obviously it was the first FP2.
Just 3 rear tyres actually in free practice 2 last week, so they probably used a few too many. So maybe just trying to get through to down through the list last week. Quartararo used 3 rear tyres in free practice 2, as did Quartararo. Jack only used 2.
Attacking up to this final corner where Frankie Morbidelli already is. Now, currently 9th for Morbidelli, Rossi in 13th. Where will this lap Bradl pushed out? Still no KTMs in amongst those top times. Valentino Rossi, lap time on in 19th place. I think he sort of probably left with a bloodied nose last week, having seen his teammate on the session earlier today. To me, he just said, let's not get lost like we did.
Oh! That went big one, and then pushing on that part of the track where the Ducati's not at its best on them long corners. That's just very lucky there. Let's listen to it.
Stalled it that much. Cutting in, Valentino Rossi, he was turn 15. He was where we saw him really pushing hard, fighting the tyre at the top of your picture. This was it. Watching the top of the screens for Valentino Rossi also. Oh, that's like Sam Blowes' one in Moto2 earlier on when he got a lap time taken. Mir is a big one that we've got to be looking at. We're looking for this 1 lap pace.
Or at least stay level. Let's see who's going to get through the beam pretty soon.
Measuring this.
Tell you what,
have to come back in, new tyre, and do it all again. Here he comes up towards the final corner. Never got it right in the race, did he, when he was trying? What's he going to do across the line this time? 13th.
Yeah, not good enough.
Not good enough for Q2. Thank you very much, Mr. Director. 0.069 off after that second sector as Fabio Quartararo makes his way back out onto track. Currently the 156s as well in terms of his pace during the race, so we'll be desperate to get higher up the order. This could take him right at 16 now for Taka Nakagami. Currently in 9th place, Aleix Espargaro watching on, and Tony
cancelled.
Turn 15 must have been.
We spotted it, didn't we?
The beauty is, with these pressure sensors, race direction and getting the information on that pace.
Yeah, 1 lap pace.
Which we haven't always seen. Remember, he did make it through directly to Q2 last time.
They will want to see the back of this place, won't they?
Don't want to start the season with 2 races here anymore, do they?
Yeah, you're right.
So,
and Jack Miller's Hall for second up.
I think it might have been Martin. I think it might have been Jorge Martin, but this
lap could by the dust.
It was with who just been through the first sector.
I was going to offer to buy you a pint, so I know you sat down.
This is going to be harsh, wouldn't it?
It'd be harsh because he's fully committed on this lap. Shot,
but it'd be Jack's luck, wouldn't it? I can imagine him. It's the sort of thing where he goes the power down on the Ducati down the home straight. He's currently in 20th, Jack Miller, but he's going to pop up right towards the sharp end.
This is a great lap for Valentino as well, because he's down in second place, but now he's looking more likely to be maybe around about 7th or 8th.
Yeah, I think it might have been the difference. I mean, Miller's half a second quicker than Espargaro. Rossi, only 12th. Not enough, not good enough, but unfortunately, pole man last time out, and I haven't seen anything of him apart from right at the start of this session. He's on a 3.1. Quartararo into second. Oliveira.
Wow.
For the KTM.
That's impressive.
Up into 6th.
Shinini's struggling a little bit, which seems strange. He's down in 19th.
So tight. A second
covering
the
actually,
top 13.
Mia's in front of him in nation.
What if he was grumpy last week, Neil?
Oh! That was graceful.
A smooth. He just needed to stand up at the end. Quickly down the order. Miguel Oliveira's on the bubble. Valentino Rossi could replace him here inside the top 10. What does Rossi do? Replace Oliveira in there, goes through into 9th place, right at the death though, for the race winner from a week ago, and a sigh of relief.
Since then he's made up a little bit of time.
Yeah.
Well, he's lost more time, but he's still...
I just wonder, can he replace Bradle here?
Yeah, if he's got a good...
Yeah, and Zarco almost invisible there, put those impressive lap times in the dire moments.
Yeah, 53.4s and 53.5s from Bagnaia. Top 5. Right, that's all very well. We were expecting that in the race on Sunday. Then it's a fight, isn't it? It's a struggle to get inside the top 10. Miller's lap looks like it's sticking around. I think that's about right.
So, impressive performance from Jack, and if they took that away from him, I think, in my opinion, it would be completely wrong.
Yeah, I think Michael called it well.
So Jack Miller topping the timesheets at the end of FP2.
The compressed. Look how low and long that bike looks. It looks like a drag bike.
Oh.
I bet it feels horrible at that point. It must feel so strange.
It sounded like he was fighting the anti-wheelie a little bit there.
I think
he forgot to switch it off.
I'm surprised he didn't pull his back out then trying to get what you mean.
So still it was a 153.9.
He went down fast and hard. That was Alex Marquez there. It was a very graceful crash.
Also at turn 7, Stefan Bradle in 10th spot. Not Pole, who, as it was last week, it's Stefan. So Joan Mir misses out by a 10th of a second.